Welcome to episode 93 of the Twig Snapper Podcast. We got our guest who's been on the most, back for more. He can't get enough of us. He must like it or something. I don't know. His third time back. Spencer Denbeste. What's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Just down in Aurora, Illinois right now, working on a master's degree, which is definitely keeping me a bit busy. I can tell you that. So glad I was able to.
Being a student still. Jeez, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Couldn't
I'm
get
so
enough. I
happy.
didn't get enough.
I'm so happy I don't have to go back. Love that thought. August rolls around. No more school. No more studying. I love I get home at work or after work. I'm like, I don't have to do anything. Like I can just
get to relax.
Be a piece of shit right now. I don't have to do anything. Like this feels weird, man. No homework. So you got to tell us just briefly about your big news that happened since you were last on the pod. When you were last on the pod, you were playing at Lake State, and that's no longer. And now you're on Aurora. So kind of just give us the quick and easy rundown, and then we'll get into our main topic for today.
Yeah. So, obviously I had a great 3 years at Lake Superior State. I ended up graduating in May with my finance and economics degree. And it just kind of went the way it went. There was really nothing there for me for my fourth year, as I wanted to pursue a master's degree rather than, get another bachelor's degree. So I ended up going to the transfer portal to explore some new options. And the team that I was most interested in was Aurora here. So I came down for a visit and absolutely loved it. Knew right away I wanted to be here. And so I made my decision pretty quick, and it made it easy. Like I said, I've been down here since May 31st, taking some summer classes and whatnot in the morning time, and just kind of enjoying my afternoons as much as I can when I'm not doing homework. But yeah, I cannot wait for all the guys to get here. I've been here all summer by myself, so it's been kind of boring. They should be rolling in around August 24th, and I'm super excited to get things started here at the new school, and can't wait for the season to get here. So
you got a house with a bunch of guys on the team?
Yeah, so we got it's a pretty nice college little crib here. We got 6 guys living here, including 5 including me. It's a big house for like a college rental. It's all redone. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be the partying sort of house, but it's nice.
People are going to want to party there because it's not a piece of shit. It's not a dump. Yeah. They're going to want to party.
We got a nice big backyard. We'll probably get some beer dye going back there and that sort of thing, but probably not so much on the inside, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I'm the only one here right now. So it's pretty lonely. I got this big crib to myself and just kind of been relaxing and come home, do my school and go to the gym and skate here and there. And just literally my room's probably, I don't know, 24 by 20. And I spend majority of my day sitting in here. So,
so are you just skating by yourself? Are there coaches around or anything? You just go and skate by yourself?
So I've been doing some goalie skates. Like obviously growing up in the Upper Peninsula, we didn't have a whole lot of like summer skates and that sort of thing. And we didn't, like when I was younger, we didn't even have like, I don't even know what you would call it, like skills coaches. But like now that's like the thing, like there's skills coaches all around. And now I'm down here in like, I guess so-and-so of the city, like you have freaking 30 ice rinks within 35 minutes of you. So you can pretty much skate whenever. So actually a kid I played with, he does a little goalie clinic. He runs coaches goalies. So he's been having ice. So I go out and shoot on those goalies. And then at our rink, Fox Valley, which is 15 minutes away from here, we have they get like dead ice. So we can go out there and skate whenever we want when nobody else is out there. And that's kind of more on my own. There's another kid, he lives just down probably like 30 minutes south of Milwaukee. So sometimes he'll come and skate at our rink as well, because it's about 30 minutes for him. But no, it's pretty much just kind of working on stuff I would like to work on, that sort of thing. Haven't really got into any scrimmages. I think tonight we might get into a bit of a scrimmage, but
Yeah, it's kind of nice to just work on stuff though by yourself. You just do what you want at your pace. You don't have to worry about
Yep,
other guys around, and just focus on what you need to focus on.
exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I know you
Yeah,
you got the itch, the itch for the season, and then, well, I guess everyone kind of does. You get to that point in the summer and like midsummer where you've been out of it for long enough, and then you just want to get back into it. And I know you got that itch, so it's going to be exciting. I'm excited, to watch you and see what you can do. Go light it
yeah.
up down in Aurora.
That's my ultimate goal. That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah. But the main thing we're going to talk about today is we do a little outdoor episode, a little outdoor pod. I feel like overall hockey guys are pretty outdoorsy. I mean, I've had quite a few guests on and they all do something outdoorsy. Maybe they're not all hunter and fisher, they hike and they do all that kind of stuff. But most guys, I think, fish. One of the guys, I asked him, was like, do most of the guys you play with hunt and fish? And he said most of them don't hunt, but everyone fished, like in juniors or whatever. That's all they did, is they just play hockey and fish. So I guess maybe we should start by talking about a little fishing, because that seems to be the focus. Hockey guys, especially in juniors, when you got nothing else to do, could live a pretty good life. Do a little
Yeah,
fishing,
just
drink a
hockey
little
and fishing.
beer, and play a little hockey. And most people wouldn't complain about that life.
No, not at all. No. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I have played with a bunch of guys that fished. Um, like for me, like I'm a big avid fisherman. Like whenever I can go, I'm out on the water. So like for me, like most of the time, if somebody wasn't into fishing, I would say, hey, like, you want to come try fishing with me? Like, because sometimes it's nice to go alone, but I don't like going alone all the time. So I would ask, like, hey, you want to come fishing? And most of the time, guys are like, heck yeah, like let's go see if we can catch some fish. So like you kind of take them, teach them the ropes. They learn the ropes. Like when I was in the Sioux, we'd go out in the St. Mary's in my boat, and I'd bring the foreigners really liked coming. We'd go out in the boat and they would ask like a million questions just because they wanted to learn about it. It
Yeah,
was like, I don't know why they asked all the questions, but they did. And who knows if they actually took the questions and kept them in their mind, or if they just went in one ear and out the other. Who knows? But yeah, there's I've played with the guys that have fished. Um, and there's one kid in particular, he's like, I think he's got like a fishing channel and everything. He really got into it. I think honestly, I think he quit hockey and he's like, he fishes, like he's a fisherman. He works for some guiding company and he's absolutely loving it. So
no, yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. Like
yeah,
some of those jobs people have, you just like a pro fisherman, or you take people out and, like, I don't know, they seem like kind of dream jobs in some way, where you just get to fish or hunt for a living. I mean, I don't know, most people wouldn't complain about that. Like, you get to be
no.
outdoors all the time. What kind of a boat do you have? I can't remember.
So we technically, I don't know if it's really mine, I should say. He
Your
hasn't quite
dad's
said
or
it.
your family's or
Yeah, it's so my dad has two. We had an older one. It was a 1400 Fury, Lund Fury. Um, and then he ended up getting a new one, a bigger boat. And he ended up just keeping the old one. Which I actually think we're selling that one because he wants to I think he's gonna end up selling both of them and get a big boat. Um, and there's no point in having three Lund boats sitting in the garage. Like there's no point in that. But the one
have
I
your
had
own
over in the
little
suit,
have your own little marina.
yeah, exactly. In the yard. Just what we want in the yard is a bunch of boats. Um, but yeah, that was the one I used all the time. It was a 1400 Fury. It was just a little thing. Got the job done for sure.
You don't need anything big. Shit, you see people take out the dinkiest little boats out of the big lake sometimes. Like, I wouldn't take that on a big lake, but you see guys out there, they got a little tiny 25 horsepower motor or something on that, just like a trolling motor or something. Like, what the hell you're doing out on the
What are
big
you
lake?
doing out there? Well, and I don't think a lot of people understand, which that's the one thing, like the people we go with, my dad and I, like, we're extremely safe about the situation. Like, we always check the wind because with Lake Superior, I mean, that thing can change in a blink of an eye. Like, and
Yeah.
that's not an exaggeration. Like we've been out there
No.
times, it's been completely calm. And within 5-10 minutes, you have like 3-4 foot rollers
Yeah.
out. Like where do they come from?
All
Like who
hell
knows?
breaks loose and you're like trying to get to safe area as fast as you can. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like there was a guy, I want to say it was probably 20 around 20 years ago in Marquette. He was 30 feet from the break wall, coming around the break wall because it got rough. He ended up trying to get around the break wall because there was nowhere else for him to go, and his boat capsized and he freaking died. And he was 30 feet from the end of the break wall. Like
yeah,
it's just Lake Superior is crazy, and a
you
lot of
don't
people they don't
you don't mess
understand
with
how.
her. Like
No,
yeah, they don't. People come from far away and they don't understand it. You got to go out with somebody who knows how to lake fish in Lake
yep,
Superior. Well, one, you're not going to catch anything probably if you don't know what you're doing, and two, you got to be safe. And I mean, the weather in the UP, not even just on the lake, but the weather in the UP can be so bipolar. It's crazy. You got to know where to go, when to go, how to handle the situations.
yep,
Otherwise, a leisure trip turns into an absolute disaster. You got boats
yeah,
capsizing, and I mean, you don't want to deal with any of that.
no, no.
So, what do you go for on the lake? You going for lake trout? You go for salmon? Depend on time of year. You go for all of it all year.
So it all really depends. So like right now it's starting to. So we fish a little differently than most people. I guess you could say fish Lake Superior. We don't run any downriggers, which those
Really?
are the things that send the big ball down to the bottom, which gets your line. You can pretty much pinpoint exactly where your line is. We all we do is we run lead core. So we run like 4 or 5 color lead core. And like 4 color lead core goes down. I think every color of lead core is 5 or 10 feet. So like 4 color will go down. I don't quote me exactly, but I believe it's around 20 feet. And like 7 color will go down 35 feet. I think my math's right there. So like we just run lead core, but we are mainly after lake trout, coho salmon, and steelhead and king salmon and brown trout. Obviously, those are all different times of the year. I was home 2 weekends ago, the 4th of July weekend. Me and my buddy went out and we ran about 25 miles from the lower harbor of Marquette. And I think we caught 3 or 4 brown trout, nice sized brown trout. One of them actually was a master angler, which you don't catch those all the time.
Yeah.
And then last weekend I was home and my dad, my cousin and I went out. And I think we got 3 Lakers. And we were out deep that time. So I think we were running 8, 9 color lead core. So those are going down quite a ways. I think we were in
Yeah.
like 160 feet of water. But most of the time we are fishing between like 30 and 60 feet. Because the Lakers, they stay in pretty shallow when that water is really cold.
Yeah.
Like they're not
Yeah.
going out.
I on the fourth, I went out with my uncle, and he's got the whole downrigger set up. He usually puts out 6 or 7 lines on downriggers, and we were out pretty deep because when we went out, like all the other boats were out deep. So like, well, they must know what there must be catching fish out there. We went out there, we weren't getting any luck, so we went in shallower. We didn't mark a single fish out deep, not a single fish on the fish mark. We go in shallower to about like I don't know 30 to 40 feet deep. And we just started marking a shit ton of fish. We ended up catching, I think, 2 lake trout, decent lake trout. But the weird thing is the water was kind of warm. Like the
Yeah.
surface temp was pretty warm. And so I thought they'd be out deeper too because they like the cold water. But no, people must have just been killing them in shallow that day.
Yeah. No, I mean, up until this past weekend, we were catching them in or like shallow.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say we even caught one 2, 3 weeks ago. that was in 15 feet,
Really?
which,
That's
yeah,
pretty
you're not
shallow for
catching.
this time of year. I mean, like
Yeah, really.
sometimes you
I think
get
this,
like June, late May, June, a lot of fish obviously are in. People troll along the shore, front of creek mouths and river mouths, and you catch stuff right where the rivers and the creeks dump out into the lake, and you can do well. But that's early season, not July.
yeah, yeah. So I want to say the weekend right before, I think it was Memorial Day. That was, is Memorial Day in May, end of
Yeah,
May?
yeah,
Yeah, so it was Memorial Day. My dad and I went out. We went out on a Friday morning and then a Saturday morning, and we were fishing shallow. Friday morning, we got seven. I think we got like five Lakers and two cohos. And then Saturday morning, we went out again, and we're like, you know what? Let's try it again. Let's go to the same spot. Let's see if we can catch them again. And we ended up catching eight that day, but it was coho, browns, and I think two Lakers. So like I don't know what was going on. That was like the most fish the boat has ever seen in like that. I will remember that weekend for the rest of my life. It was an absolute blast. It was like you'd put the lines out and you'd be reeling one or two in. Like we had, I think that day we had two doubles. So you don't see that every day.
yeah,
But we've also put a lot more time into it this year. Well, I should say he has. I haven't really because I haven't really been home. But I think we've kind of figured it out in the Marquette area, which is nice. Um,
yeah,
it's taken a little while, but it's fun. It's fun when you're
yeah.
catching fish, and even when you're not catching fish, it's fun.
I don't know. I've been losing the drive for lake trout fishing. I don't know. I just guess I don't have the patience for it anymore. Or like it's such a pain in the ass. Like my uncle, since he does it all the time, he'll set up all the downriggers and set up like 7 lines on downriggers. It takes some time and I don't know. I just don't have the patience for it. Like my go-to is still I didn't do any this year just because with graduating and starting a job, it was so damn busy. But my favorite's going stream fishing. You get a good brook trout stream, and even if you're not catching all keepers, if you just find a good hole where you're catching fish, keep yourself
Yeah,
busy, have a lot of fun. That's my favorite. I love
yeah,
if you can get if you know where to go. That's
yep.
key.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing is finding your spot where to go. And
Yeah.
obviously, I got some in the Marquette area. I do a lot of steelhead fishing as well. I've kind of got out of the whole brook trout thing. I mean, I'm just not a big fan of the brook trout fishing unless like I'm fly fishing. But that's a whole different ball game there. But I like steelhead fishing. I have a center pin, so it has no drag. Like it just spins around either way. So like if you catch a steelhead, like you're fighting it with your, I guess you can say the drag is your hand. Like you slow it down with your hand or you speed it up. Like it's pretty slick and it makes it very fun.
Yeah. Fishing is more fun when you've got action. I mean, obviously, it's still fun to be out. Like that's I don't know, that's what I like about the like going brook trout fishing is, you get that kind of late spring where it's kind of crisp still. It's starting to warm up, but it's still like cool in the mornings. And you just kind of go out and find a nice stream. There's no bugs yet. That's the thing about stream fishing too, is once the bugs get out, I mean, it's God, you don't want to be
You're not
anywhere
going
near.
out there.
No, you got to go at the end of May, like beginning of May. Actually, yeah, not the end of May. The bugs are out by then. Beginning of May, and then in the fall when some of the streams, I don't know, the different whatever type 1, type 2, whatever different streams, you got to go in the fall again. Anytime in the summer, it's just miserable unless you're going off a bridge on like a road. Then maybe you'd be okay, but usually you don't have any luck if you're just right
Right
off of
there, yeah.
right there in the middle where everyone and their brother can pull off and throw a line in. But I also like perch fishing. Like if you find a good spot and you can catch a lot of perch, like that's fun. I like perch
Yeah.
fishing too. But you gotta find a good spot. Otherwise, you gotta know where to go for that. Some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, I would have to disagree with you on that one. I'm not a I hate perch fishing. I probably haven't went perch fishing in 10 years. It's just I don't know. I just
Yeah, I used
the
to
big
love it as a
fish,
kid.
the big
And
fish is
then
just like what I it's just the more of the thrill for me is the bigger fish, I think. I don't know.
yeah, I guess I don't care if I catch big fish. I just like to catch fish. Or like, well, yeah, because perch, it's like you get like whatever 10, 12, maybe 13, 14-inch perch, and you're like, oh man, this is huge. Like, I love this. And it's not very big compared to you get like a big lake
Yeah.
or like or people who go walleye fishing and you get some massive walleye. And I mean, those are big fish. Or steelhead, you can get some big steel king salmon, you can get some massive king salmon too.
Yeah.
Then you're starting to fish the big fish. Go for shit, what a like muskies, people muskie fish
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean, then you're getting into some. You ever go muskie fishing?
I've never been musky fishing. I've caught one, but it wasn't really musky fishing. We were walleye fishing and I caught one. It wasn't
That
anything.
doesn't really count then, does it?
No, no, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was a muskie. Um, but no, it's been something I've always wanted to do. I don't really know if there's anywhere in the Marquette County area you can really go muskie fishing. I mean, maybe I've never done it. I've never really done any research on it. Um, I know over in the Sioux, there's some really good muskie fishing in the St. Mary's. Um, and my guess would be probably around like those Apostle Islands, that sort of thing. There would be some muskies. I'm not, if
Yeah,
I were to guess.
there's pretty good fishing all the way from like Bayfield, Ashland, the whole Shaquamini Bay area. There's supposedly really good fishing. I don't have a boat, so I can't give it a try.
Yeah.
But and I lived down in near Ironwood last summer. My buddy had a boat. Every day we wanted to go out on the big lake. It was just rough. And then of course the days where it was calm, we're tired of shit from work. We don't want to go out. So we went to this little lake called Guile Flowage down in Wisconsin. And people talked it up about being this great fishing lake. Well, we only ever caught bass that were out of season or like out of the size limit. Like you could catch anything that's this big but not this size. So we were always catching like 13, and you couldn't keep them if they were like between 12 and 15 or something. And it was like out of season. And then we were catching these like tiny little ass pike, like 9-inch pike or something that were just pathetic. So it was horrible. Did not have good luck fishing at all last summer because you don't want anything to do with like a 9-inch pike. I mean, a dinky little
No,
thing. Like,
use it as bait.
yeah, you could. Um, and do you ever go smelting?
No, I have like a couple times. So we used to have a camp in Skaney, just past Lawrence there. If you turn,
Yeah.
well, I guess coming from Houghton to the left.
Yep.
So we used to have a camp back there. We sold it probably, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. But when I was younger, I went with my dad a couple times. And like I think it used to be, I don't know if it still is, but like that Lawrence, there's a river that runs through Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of the best smelting rivers there. Like
Not now.
it's
I'm pretty sure everybody and their brother goes there. It's
yeah.
just like people lined up trying to, and there's the smelt's been horrible past however many years. It's not like it used to be. Um, I've went a couple times at Tech and never had any luck. It's also hard. You got to catch it the right weekend. Like try one weekend. Okay, it's not this weekend. You wait too long, you miss it. It's one of those things like unless you go every single weekend, for a stretch, you might miss it. And
Yep.
I don't know. That's something like again, it's only fun if you're scooping lots of smelt. Otherwise, you're just like wandering around in creeks and
Scooping
streams.
water. Yeah.
And it's like, midnight, 1 a.m. You're just like, what the hell are we doing out here? Like this
Yeah.
isn't fun. It's cold and yeah. Um, let's see here. So yeah, maybe somebody will listen to this. Some guy who doesn't play hockey will listen to this and he'll think he needs to get into fishing. I don't know.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I wouldn't say it's a cheap sport, but you can get started pretty cheap with it.
You got to know if you know somebody who's got all the shit, that's how you get
Oh
into
yeah.
it. Because you just
Yeah.
tag along with them a couple times and then you can buy your own stuff. But yeah, it's best to know somebody with a boat and who's got the full setup and just go with them every time. And you don't need to worry about the cost.
No.
So I know you said you haven't done much hunting. I know because of college, but
Well,
Well,
I would rephrase that. I have done a lot of hunting.
you haven't had
I
much
just
luck.
haven't done. I haven't had much luck. I haven't done a whole lot of killing. It's more of just sitting in the woods and watching the nature, just checking the nature out. If there's a doe that walks in, just kind of watch the doe walk in. Yeah, personally, I haven't done the greatest. I did quite a bit of it when I was up in the Sioux. Um, but like during that time of the year, it was always kind of hard because we get done with practice at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And during bow season, it's getting dark by 5:30. So like I'd buzz out there to my stand and I'd sit for an hour and a half. And I usually had class at 8 a.m. So if I go in the morning, I would sit for, like it wouldn't really be worth it. But some of the weekends we were home, I'd get out on Sundays and whatnot. Um, Last year I actually passed on a buck, a little 5 pointer. I kind of want my first bow kill to be a nice sized buck.
Not a 5 pointer.
No, not a 5 pointer. I it's been about 6 years since I shot my last nice sized deer.
Yo,
So
you're due.
it's been a little
You're in
while.
a lull. Holy shit.
I know. But I haven't done a whole lot of rifle hunting. It's been mainly the bow hunting. This year, I think, hopefully, as long as they come home for Christmas, me and two of my best friends, we always rent these cabins up towards just outside of Marquette. We rent one cabin and it's surrounded by state land. So we'll go set our tree stands up over Christmas break and we'll stay out there for a long weekend, 4 or 5 days, and we'll just hunt. Um, that's always fun. We missed that last year, but the 2 years before that, we did that. Um, that's a blast. Drink some beers. Obviously, not hunting, drinking beers, but after we were done hunting, drink some beers, get up, um, go hunt in the morning, and hang out in the afternoon and hunt the evenings. But no, I'm honestly, I'm kind of hoping I can try to find some time this year to hunt down here in Illinois. I've heard it's some of the best hunting there is with big bucks. And there's actually, from where I'm at, there's state land like 40 minutes from here, which driving in the city, 40 minutes is absolutely nothing. Like it takes me 30 minutes to get everywhere I want to go because all the damn traffic. But which is something I am not used to. I'm starting to get a little bit used to it, but yeah, no, I'm excited to be, I guess you could say, done with school, kind of doing my own thing, and get back into hunting more and more.
Yeah.
And hopefully, before too long, have my own land to hunt on rather than state land and that sort of thing. But I don't mind
Right.
hunting state land. It's kind of, it makes it interesting.
Yeah. I've never deer hunted ever.
You haven't.
No, my dad was never into it, and I never got into it. So I've always been a big like grouse hunter. Love grouse
Yep.
hunting. That's so much fun. That's what
Yep.
I look forward to every fall is that. And I'd like to get into duck hunting because my dad's got all the shit for it, goose hunting. I just never got into it in college because I didn't feel like getting up so early every weekend. You like get up and you go to class all week. I really don't want to spend my Saturday getting up at the crack of
Getting up
dawn.
early.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I don't know if it was last year or the year before. So many guys just had shitty luck because it was just a weird fall. So if you're not having the right luck too, it's like
Kind of a waste of time. It's like, yeah, well, why why go out, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love grouse hunting. Here I gotta plug in my little soundboard, otherwise it's gonna die on us. But I has not been the best luck up like the Houghton way. It's been kind of meh. I mean, like we all get excited if we get one or two birds when we go out, which most people that's a bad day. Like I get happy if I see two birds, let alone shoot one of them. I mean, populations are pretty shitty. But
Yeah.
we started hunting gems, some of those DNR management zones, and they're pretty nice because they mow the paths and it's
Yep.
perfect habitat. And one of the falls we did that, you'd go out and you'd see like 20 birds every time. You'd be able to get a handful. but down towards Ironwood, it's pretty good grouse area. I've seen a shit ton this summer. That's always promising when you see a bunch in the summer. And I've heard other people seeing lots with babies in the summer. So fingers crossed. I don't know. I'd like to have a year where I get more than like 5 birds. Enough where you can actually eat something. I mean, you get like 2 birds and it's barely a meal for yourself. You got to get enough of them where you can actually make something and have some people over, make some, I don't know, partridge nuggets or something. I know my dad always talks about making partridge nuggets.
I've never had them.
Neither have I. I really want to try them, but like I said, I have shitty luck. So I gotta be a better hunter or whatever. I don't know. My grandpa even gave me a bunch of books on like grouse hunting and like supposed to, like, I don't know. I feel like I going to the right places based on what these books say. I'm going to the right habitats. I just think it's crappy hunting up by Houghton. I don't know. I ran into an old timer when I had one of my internships in the woods, and he was complaining that the grouse populations were down in Ironwood because he talked about he used to get like 150 to 200 birds a year, and now he was only getting like 100 birds a year. I was like, what the hell are you doing with 200? You can't eat that many grouse. What the hell? I never get
That's
that.
That's a lot of birds.
Yeah. Or the people who catch a ton of fish. They go every single day for the entire summer and they catch like 10 fish a day. If you're keeping all of it, you better be eating a lot of fish. I mean, geez.
Yeah. No, I mean, even us, like we catch fish, but we don't catch. I mean, I wouldn't say we catch one every single time we go out.
Right. And you don't go every day.
We're not going every day. And I mean, most of the time we don't keep all the fish we catch either. It's like, and that's the thing with the Marquette area. There's this fishing association there that just keeps all the fish. It's like, you can't throw some back. You go out and you catch 10 every time. Well, who knows how many you're catching with how many people you have in the boat.
Right.
And then you're keeping all of them. And, the population just getting lower and lower. It's like, what's the point in keeping all of them? You don't need to.
Yeah. People wonder why the populations are down. It's because people overhunt and they overfish when you really don't need to. Or is it just like so you can go show off at the bar, like, oh, I killed this, and I caught this many fish, like, oh, big whoop, like,
good for you, man.
Yeah.
But it's the same with hunting too.
Oh yeah, it totally is. It's
like
I don't
people
get it.
shoot spike horns and shit, which I understand. Like, if you're a 10 to 15-year-old kid, shoot a spike horn. But if you're a 30, 40-year-old man, what's the point in? I mean, obviously, if it's to feed the family, that's a different story. But if you're if you're just shooting the spike horn to shoot the spike horn, like, come on, really? Like, is that necessary? But I mean,
there's some shitty people out there. I mean, you see stuff on the news like people poaching or like killing eagles and like shit like that. Okay, like, really? Like, what are you doing? Like, what kind of a person are you if you poaching? Really, you can hunt out a season, you can't wait? What? And then you're killing people who kill eagles. What are you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Why do you? I don't get it.
Well, that's like, if you kill an eagle, you're friggin'
that's federal prison.
I think it's damn near like 15 years to 20 years in prison and like a $500,000 fine or something.
Oh yeah, but you see it all the time, like on the news in the UP. Like, I thought about being a CO for a little while because I was like, I know you have the same authority as like a cop. You have the same authority. And I was like, you probably don't have to deal with the same shit. But then I was like, I don't want to deal with people like that. You're not a nice person if you kill eagles.
No, but so now that we're on the eagle topic, I got to tell a crazy story.
Sure.
That happened with 3 guys on my team last year. So it was spring break. The season ended early because we lost. They were heading out on spring break and they were heading down to Detroit, and they got like 30 minutes outside the Sioux. They were driving one of the guys' Jeeps, and my roommate, he was from Germany. His name's Timo. He was sitting in the back seat, and the other kid was driving, and then the other one was in the passenger seat. And they're just driving along the freeway there on I-75, and all of a sudden this bird like dives down into the vehicle, goes right through the windshield. Okay. So they're like glasses everywhere. And my roommate, the kid from Germany, Timo, he can tell this story and like you almost pee your pants laughing so hard because it's so freaking funny. But he says he was like in shock, and all of a sudden this bird comes through the window, and the head is like 4 inches from Tyler's face, the kid that's driving the vehicle. And they were all in shock. They thought like a bomb hit the vehicle. Like they thought like a cannonball came through the windshield, and they're like, what the hell's going on? So they pull over. Luckily they didn't like crash into anything or anything like that. They get out of the vehicle and they like FaceTime, and it was a freaking eagle. An eagle went through the windshield of the vehicle. So they call the police, they call the DNR. The police show up and they're like, yeah, like do not touch the bird. Like none of the feathers, don't do anything. They're like, okay, like we weren't planning on going to touch this bird. It looks like it could kill every one of us. My roommate, Timo, was like, dinosaur. It's a dinosaur. There's a dinosaur in the window. And they're like, what? Because like, obviously English isn't the great. It's good, but it's not the greatest. He was like telling the story one night drunk. He called it a dinosaur. It was hilarious. But long story short, the DNR shows up and they're like, yeah, you guys are gonna have to hang out here until we figure we have to do a full-on investigation of what happened here. And they're like, we don't have time. Like, we're trying to catch this. Like, we have a flight to catch. Like, we didn't hit the eagle on purpose. Like, it flew out of nowhere. Like, you can't tell, it just came out of nowhere and it ran into the vehicle. So then the police officer was like, yeah, you guys can go. But yeah, there's some like, I'll see if I won't. But there's the pictures of it are insane. They're like, its wings, luckily its wings were like spread out when it hit. Otherwise it would have went right through the windshield. Wow. Like the wings like were stuck and the head was coming through. It was
Did the bird live, or did it die?
No,
in the window?
It was dead. It was dead in the window. But yeah, like the claws, it was pretty nuts. But
what the hell possessed an eagle just like dive bomb a car?
I don't know if there was something on the side of the road or what, and I don't think it helped. It was a Jeep windshield. It was more like flat rather than diagonal. So I don't think that helped, that eagle running into that thing. But like, I've heard some crazy stories about like animals getting killed, and I've never heard an eagle dive bombing a car and coming right through the windshield. No, it was quite the story.
That is wild. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah. Usually you hear about people who like out west, maybe like a buffalo comes up and like rams the car or something, tries to stick its head in the window, but that shit happens all the time. Not like an eagle trying to fly through your car.
No.
You don't hear that.
No.
Wow. That's a pretty good story. Yeah. That's a good one to tell. Obviously, I'm sure the guys
they can
they can tell it's really good, but your version was pretty good.
My roommate Timo, he can tell it like no other, because he refers to it as a dinosaur, and it's pretty freaking funny.
Does he have a pretty thick German accent?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very thick. But yeah, this is I don't know if you're gonna be.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. That's one of the better stories I've heard on the pod in a while. So it's up there. That's a good one.
It's not even mine.
No, you're stealing. You're stealing other people's story. You don't have any good ones yourself.
Yeah, no. Well,
come on.
I probably do. I could probably come up with one or two.
Yeah. And you've got some other ones you just don't want to share on the pod. I know that.
Yeah.
You got too much to go, going for you right now, new team, all that. That's all you need is to say something stupid on a podcast. Your coach is just,
hey, what the hell is this about?
Yeah, you're done. Well, thanks for coming back on your third episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Biggest contributor to the pod. You know what? You're gonna get us. We're gonna get you back on once you get some games under your belt and start putting the puck in the net. We're gonna have lots to talk about then. And then when we get that Twig Snapper Chicklets Cup team someday, oh boy, there's a lot in the works. A lot in the works.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, Spencer. Thanks.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you.